the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. Madam Director, the roll, please.
Ben Giovanelli.
Present.
Mayor Bixson.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Eric Diana.
Here.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Here.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Roger Knapp. Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Marilyn Trent.
Here.
We have a quorum.
My goodness, we have almost a full board tonight.
I know,
Are we
that
giving away something free, or what's going on here? Not quite
Yes, that's
sure,
if you
but,
stay for the whole meeting.
This is right, yeah, right, yeah. Your prize comes at the end. You have to go through the entire thing. So thank you and welcome, everybody. First of all, Happy New Year. I know we did not get together in December. We had, we decided to, or actually, you were here. I wasn't here in December, so I apologize for that. So thank you for picking up the torch there and running through it. I heard you did a stellar job, so that's fantastic.
I'm a natural.
Right, yeah. So the board's in good hands. So with that, I'm sorry. Oh, yep. We'll make his way up. We got you up here, Roger, I think.
I better remove my coat.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the minutes, approval of meeting minutes from the meeting December 13, 2013.
Hey, Roger.
Any questions or a motion in our future to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Haig, any support? Support by Karsten, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Audience comments, we do have some folks here this evening, so welcome, this is good. We always love visitors. State your name and your address for the record, and thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maria Maselli, 92 Brewster, Rochester Hills.
It's okay, we'll still allow you.
That's okay.
I'm Amy Grandy. My address is 1312 Pembroke, and I'm from the University Hills area.
Gotcha. Well, welcome.
Thank you. So once again, good evening. My name is Maria Maselli, and again, this is Amy Grandy. We're part of a group called the Citizens Committee for Rochester Community Schools, who is campaigning for the upcoming millage renewal to pass. All Michigan school districts must levy 18 mills on non-homestead properties to receive their full foundation allowance. It's a major source of funding for Michigan schools. If approved, the operating millage proposal would renew the existing levy on non-homestead properties, which includes businesses, vacation homes, investment, and rental properties. The millage renewal will be on the primary ballot Tuesday, February 27th, and is essential for Rochester Community Schools as $24.5 million is on the line, which pays for district classroom instruction and operating expenses.
If the operating millage proposal does not pass, Rochester Community Schools per pupil revenue would fall from $9,608 to $8,060, which equates to a loss of $24.5 million in district funding. These funds will not be replaced by the state if it is not approved. The millage is a renewal, and it is not collected on primary homeowners, but is required to be approved by the school district's voters. Owned primary residents do not pay the 18 mil tax. A yes vote renews the millage for 10 years. We urge you to please vote yes for the millage renewal on behalf of the students of Rochester Community Schools.
One more switch. You can find us on Facebook at Citizens Committee for Rochester Community Schools, and also on Instagram at Citizens4RCS. Thank you so much for your time.
You can also check the website too.
Oh, there's
Yes.
the website as well. Go ahead.
Rochester, yeah, you can also check the Rochester Community Schools website. It's right on the front page. There's all kinds of information. Okay? Thank you so much.
Any questions for our visitors this evening? Thank you so much. So this is the downtown development. We don't have a ton to do with it, but you get some free TV. So glad to at least get you out in the homes and help your cause. So
We thank you.
absolutely.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming this evening. We appreciate it. Yep. All righty, Roo. Anything else? All right, liaison reports. The Honorable Marilyn Trent. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to all of you.
Welcome.
It is the first, the Frost Festival will be frosty this weekend.
I was going to say, isn't that already happening?
Yeah, the ice isn't going to melt for a change. It's beautiful.
That was my next line, Christy.
Sorry.
Hey, I teed you up for it. Yep, they will not melt this year. It's good news.
Excellent.
Yes. So I have two meetings that we've had, two city council meetings. One was December 18th. final draft of the 2024 to 2028 Parks Master Plan was approved. We need those for grants and enabling the city to pursue them, to continue to pursue them, and they have gotten a few from the previous one. We approved the matching local fund for BRIC, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant application. And there was a presentation of the Monarch Champion City to Mayor Bixson, by the National Wildlife Federation, by Stephanie Smith, the Vice Chair of Rochester Pollinators. It is the only one in the state of Michigan that has won, and at this time. I don't know, it could be one of 4 in the nation, I gotta check that out. Last time it was one of 6.
Well, that's super
So second year in a row.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so on January, through the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, yeah. So on January 8th, we had another meeting, and we announced that there was an announcement that Councilmember Doug Gould had resigned.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Yeah, I know. Surprising, huh? We were all surprised. He received an offer after he won the election from a colleague from a university in Texas, so he's moving to Texas, and he's got a.
He's running the dental school, isn't he, or something?
Yeah, so, I
It's a big gig, so that's good for him.
But he didn't know he didn't know in advance, it's my understanding. So, if you're interested, a letter of interest should be emailed to Leanna O'Connor. It's due January 31st. And then each one of the applicants will have an opportunity to present on February 12th. All right, so we are going to have, the city council will have their yearly annual goals and objective meeting on this Saturday morning, and with the department heads and the administration, and we'll look at the future projects and funds, and, keep the fund balanced.
Keep the
And
trains moving.
The budget balanced.
All right.
And we'll have another one on February 24th, I think, and then March? So we're doing more than one this year. We're doing 3, because we want to get it right. So that's it.
Well, having done that for 12 years, I know what it's like. So you guys are doing the Lord's work, so we're very grateful for that. Nick or Christy, when is the DDA teed up before council on that?
That is, hang on, stand by.
Just trying to keep the shot clock in my head running.
I know, sorry about that. Let's see here. I believe on the schedule that we were on for, I believe April 8th. I'll double
dear.
check.
Okay, so we got time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll double
Plenty
check
of
with
time.
Anthony
Got
just to
it.
make sure.
All right, I just didn't know how hard I
that
had
right?
to put the
Yeah.
hammer down, so.
Yeah, we're
I'm not
okay.
going to be like my kids and blow it off till the last minute, but.
Yeah, no, we're okay.
Yeah, no, we'll get after. I just need to know how much time we have. So we got some time, so that's
You
great.
got some time, more time
Awesome.
than we
All right, thank you.
have. Apparently, I
Well,
don't know.
your dance card's a lot more full than
That
ours.
is
We
right.
have a very narrow,
Yes.
that appreciate it. Any questions for Councilperson Trent? Seeing none, shall march forward. Lisa Swipney is not here this evening. Did you want to?
So Lisa emailed me yesterday to let me know that she is no longer on the chamber board. She
Oh.
will not be our liaison. So Maggie is supposed to be finding someone new for us.
Gotcha.
So that's where we are right now. I'm hoping next month we'll at least have a written report from
Okay,
the
yeah,
chamber.
very
So I'll
good.
keep everybody posted. But Lisa wanted me to pass along her thanks that she enjoyed her time here with us.
Well, we appreciate it. We wish her well, so that's fantastic. Okay, so we'll expect to hear something in the near future from the chamber. Mr. Sinkowitz, good evening. Historical Commission, Happy New Year.
Good evening and Happy New Year, and I hope everyone had a great holiday season. A lot of my comments are just reminders, a reminder that the Founder's Day will be celebrated on March 10th at the Calf Barn at the Rochester Hills Museum, the Van Usen Farm. The guest speaker will be Melissa Wees, I think that's the way you pronounce her name. She works at Leader Dogs for the Blind. Melissa will be presenting the history of the organization during their time in the area, in the Rochester area. The Founder's Day celebration falls on the same day as St. Patrick's Day. We were still up until recently, we were still working on getting the Irish dance teams to participate as they did every year. Some of these groups have commitments to participate in the St. Patrick's Day parade, so it caused a little bit of concern there. But just today, I received word from the Shannon Irish Dancers. They're going to participate at Founder's Day. They participated last year and I think a few other years as well. So that's good. They were well received. They do a great job. During the first couple of weeks in February, we'll be distributing the Founder's Day coloring books to all the Rochester Hills, or Rochester Community Schools second graders. And a reminder that the Greater Rochester Heritage Festival will be at the Rochester City Park on May 25th and 26th of this year. So, thank you.
Staple of the community. Well, it sounds like this year you could team up and do it at O'Connor's, maybe, right? You could, in the business, they refer to that as dollar cost averaging, I think, so. Anyway, but thank you for that report. Any questions for our Historical Commission liaison? Seeing none, thank you for that report. We appreciate it. PSD, Madam Director.
So we were unable to meet because our chairman had a little trouble on his flight getting out of Texas last week, so.
I got stories.
Yes, so he got in too late, so we weren't going to have quorum. So PSD will be taking up, it was supposed to be their goals and objectives meeting, so they'll be having it at their next regular meeting, which is February 7th.
Gotcha. All right, well, we'll look forward to that. Yeah, the Texas, getting in for the game and getting out was, brutal.
Yes.
All right, so we've accomplished liaison reports, general business agenda items, social district discussion. Madam Director.
So you may recall that we've been talking about this for a little while now, and we had put it on hold because we had a lot of other irons in the fire, but it's back. I'm sure that Nick can share with you, these had a lot of businesses asking him what the status is of our social district discussion. And so I know that we wanted it to originate here, so I brought it up at executive committee, and they asked me to put it on the agenda. You may recall that last year, Jen Taylor and I had sat in on a planners gathering Zoom call to get more information about that, and then also reported back to the board that we had gone in to Farmington back in September to meet with their DDA staff, and they walked us through the district, walked us through their town square, talked to us about their signage, their process, and all that good stuff. So which we still have an open invitation if anyone wants to go down and take a tour and get all the info. They would love to have us. So having said that, at executive committee, I offered that if the board would like us to take this up, that I would reach out to Attorney Crott to attend our February meeting. He has the date on hold for us, so I just wanted to throw it out to the board to see if we are still interested in pursuing the social district. If you're not familiar with the social district, I did include in your packet the very official information from the state, as well as the cities in Michigan that currently have social districts. So that was in your packet for your reference. So we are not the first. I'm sure we won't be the last. We're going to be middle of the pack, I would think. But essentially, what all of this paperwork says is that it allows our businesses that serve alcohol, that they are able to actually offer carryout. It has to be a specified container. It has to be with a certain logo on it. It has to have a lid on it, and they have to, whoever is participating has to be included within the geographic social district. Lots of nuances in between that we can talk about once we get there, but I thought it would be helpful if we had Attorney Crott come talk to us next month and walk us through the whole process so we could get going, so that hopefully we would have this ready to go for this year.
Gotcha. Just a quick add to that. So is there anybody that doesn't know what social district is? Like, it was sort of born out of the COVID regime back in 2020. It was one of the ways that state of Michigan, actually many states in the country, but decided to create districts where people could go outside and gather, and it just kind of really took off. And I mean, you can see the number of cities that are on there. I know Birmingham's trying to get one right now, or there's a lot of them working on it. So, anywho, any questions for the director, or should we go ahead and put this on the agenda for February to have Attorney Crott come?
Let's put it on the agenda.
Do we need to make a motion?
Hold on one second, Madam.
So how does it work? So Crott comes here.
Crott's going to come here and he's going to run through the process with us. My understanding is most cities that have DDAs, the DDAs have taken up the application, getting the businesses signed on, all of that stuff, and then proceed to take it up to council, and then council's the final decision maker, but usually the DDAs in those cities have been doing the legwork.
Oh, okay, yeah, because when I went to Chelsea and saw theirs.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, the signage was very clear, it was, you know.
Yeah, the one in Clarkston's really cool,
If
too.
people think it's people falling around drunk, it's not. It's very,
Right?
Yeah.
very
Except for St.
well-behaved
Patrick's Day,
people
right? So-
on the streets behaving themselves and feeling good about it.
Yes.
Maybe extra special good.
Right.
Is it usually through the whole town, or is this in
No,
the
it's
area?
No, it's just, it's
Yeah,
area.
it's a very defined district. It's, and that's why having Jeff here to come speak to it is super important.
So
So I
they
think
have-
once you hear the
Yeah.
sort of rules of engagement, then we can decide whether or not it's something I want to move forward with.
And one thing I would mention, when they first started it, it used to be during COVID that it was very specific to a street that you would have to cordon it off, and then this is the area that people could go. That has since changed. They also have removed the sunset. So
Oh, good,
originally, things were supposed to be sunsetting after COVID went away. And now they had expanded it before. If you had a social district on the east side of the street, restaurants on the west side could not participate because you couldn't cross you couldn't cross the street, things like that. Now it's not that anymore. Like, for instance, in Farmington, they have designated their whole DDA. So top to bottom, listed all the restaurants that can participate. Not all of them participate, but that they have the opportunity to. That was one of the things in the planners gathering they suggested, is that you get all the restaurants to sign on, because it's a lot harder to go back and add restaurants on. Just, you can put them, you can include them all, and then if they choose to participate, great, but if not, also great. So it just
well-
depends. So it's a lot freer than what it used to
Oh,
be, and you
okay,
can
that's
just
great. I thought there
designate.
was more, still more handcuffs on to that.
Not so much.
So any opposition to having Attorney Crott come to at least talk about it and let us know what, we want to be very intentional, obviously, about this. It's just not going to, hey, Shakespeare for everyone.
Just, I think it'd be good
Yeah, no, 100%.
what it is.
All right, so by the direction of the chair, go ahead and extend the invitation to the city attorney, and we will see him at the next meeting. Great. Any other questions with respect to social district before we march forward? Seeing none. Infrastructure Subcommittee report. Oh, that's me. Last Friday, was it? I think it was last Friday. We had, I'm the DDA representative of the City Infrastructure Committee. It was myself, the mayor, Nancy Salvia, and Christian Hauser, and then, of course, run by the DPW, so Alec, Nick was on the call, Asil, I mean, the whole host of characters, there had to be like 20 people in there. And myself and Christian had to do Zoom, because we actually had to work at our paying jobs that just, pay us, so. But we went through it, and there were significant, the timing was great, I guess, because we're talking about budget stuff, so it was important to kind of go through the exercise. So I had in the packet is the meeting notes and the agenda from the meeting. So this was created by the DPW. And Roy Koznicki? Right. Yeah, Roy's been around forever. He's a great guy.
Citizen member.
Yes, as a citizen member. So it was a very robust discussion. So if you kind of scroll through, I don't know what page this is. It looks like page 14 in our agenda here, but kind of walked through. So Alec walked through, Alec and Asil and everybody walked through sort of the future project map. It included DDA, complete road construction projects, non-DDA, east side curb replacement, mill and fill, sanitary storm and sewer, open cut projects, and then parking lots and decks. So the whole host of sort of infrastructure, as one would expect an infrastructure committee to cover, was covered. But there's a significant chunk of stuff there for the DDA, so I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. So if you kind of, and this didn't, I don't know, this PDF's kind of wonky, but there's the road projects, and once again, I don't know the calendarization of it yet. They haven't gotten that far, but we need to sort of keep this in the back of our mind that this is coming, and the hat's going to be passed around. So there's I don't know, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And do you want me to
7,
pull it up on the screen? Would that be
10,
helpful?
11, 12. Sure, if you want to, that'd be great. There's 12 roads projects in the DDA district. A total cost of $15,480,000. I mean, this is going to be over time. It's not going to be, we're not spending $15 million tomorrow, hopefully. But that said, part of the discussion was, I'm always thinking budget, right? So we're sitting here trying to figure budget out. I'm like, all right, so.
Are you a CPA or something?
Well, yeah, it's that time of the year for guys like me, I suppose. But we'll let Chrissy while she's pulling it up here. But so the question was, in the past, and I'm just trying to run through this in my head. So when you look at the sheet, once she pulls it up, there's stuff below the dirt and stuff above the dirt. In the past, the below the dirt stuff was on the city, and above the dirt was the DDA. And then throughout this, at least in this meeting, was the first time that I was made aware of that that's no longer the case, or at least that's the intention, is going to be all of it for the DDA. So which is fine, we're partners. I just want to make sure I understand.
Almost there.
Yeah.
These maps are big.
No, I know, and they don't scale great in
They
the
don't
PDF,
scale
so.
It's like half a map.
Yeah, well, the
we can
problem is
scoot
that
things
they're,
over,
Well,
but-
you can.
they're
I got it.
portrait and
That's
landscape
fine.
all in the
I
same
get it.
thing,
It was-
so.
Okay, this is the one you're looking
no
for,
biggie.
correct?
It's just,
Ish, it's page 17, if that matters, at least page 17, yeah, 17. Or not,
Or not, okay, I guess I'll just go old school, okay.
yeah, it's all right. Use your mouse finger, it's good.
There you go.
One more,
18, one more.
no, keep going,
There it is,
keep going, one more, keep going.
this one?
That's what says 17 for me. It's got, keep going up just a little bit more. I think it's at the top of this guy. Yeah, I think, there we go. Okay, so I think what that is a giant sheet that has been reduced to one-page PDF.
yeah.
So the DDA District ones is what I'm talking about here. So if you scroll to the right, Christie, it'll get you to the total that I just brought up. So $15.48 million. So that is paving, storm sewer, water main. This is just estimates from, the DPW and our consultants as to what the projects are going to run. Once again, this is hopefully not next year. It's going to be over a period of time.
Not spreading it over 10 years.
Yeah, something like that. But I just wanted to put this on everybody's radar that, yeah, we got, $16 million worth of road projects coming up, and I don't know how much. I guess we'll get additional clarity as we go through the calendarization of it. And also, too, if there's any match funding out there that we can get. I mean, there's so many variables, but at least I just wanted to give the board an update as to some sticker shock as to projects that are sort of been listed. Once again, this is going to be over the course of time. So when do you think Alec's going to have a better handle, or is this going to be Alec and Anthony project in terms of calendarization?
We're going to go to the asset committee and let them start. It's
Sorry, I'm just trying to, I want the board to sort of have some visibility into the process.
so in essence, we've been doing this already for years. It's a balancing act. We can't do 4th Street, Walnut, East Street all at the same time. So
Right.
We'll pick years, pays or ratings, if does the water main need to be replaced.
Yeah.
None of this is, as Marilyn, like DEFCON 5, it's not that, right? So it's a logical progression through to do this. It just happens to add up to that much money.
Yeah.
The rest of the city adds up to.
Oh, dude, I know.
Lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep these guys up to date as to what,
So as the opportunity is there, if whatever street's worse, then we would bring the project forward and start that way. So it's hard to put a calendar to it. Depends on what happens. For instance, 3rd Street just got ripped up because the Bellissima water lead broke. So we had to rip that road up. So we just temporarily patched it because that's on the list to do.
Gotcha.
So that'll probably move to the top of the list now.
gotcha.
Paving wise, so it'll be a moving target. And the asset committee which you're a part of, will work through that.
Okay.
And then we'll explain.
They'll
to
let us
everybody.
know what our chunk,
Absolutely.
okay, all right. So my point is that I can't sit here today and tell you how much we got to account for in the budget for this, because I don't have that in the calendar yet, but just kind of be aware that it's sort of on the horizon. And then Christie, towards the end, also too, like the very end of the meeting, we got into, right in the agenda, there was a discussion about city parking lot rehab too. So
Do you want the
there's,
spreadsheet?
yeah, it's showing to me as page 22 of
I
57,
which
so I don't know
one
if
it is.
that matters or
I
not.
know this one. It's coming. Wait for it. Oh, there we are.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Scooch, go, it's that way, it's hiding on you, you can go back to the top. I had to laugh because it's a sort of city park-in lot. So there's a discussion as to the lots and how we're going to pay for this, how the parking fund and/or DDA or whoever else is going to be involved is going to pay for it. So, and this is like right at the tail end of the meeting, so I didn't get a ton of clarity on it, so I guess I'd stay tuned, News at 11 on that one for us. But the one thing I did want to know is which lots are in the district? All of them?
No.
Not all of them.
No.
Okay.
You can see them, Municipal Park, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, so that one.
It looks like they highlighted, right? How did they do it? No,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little confusing, because, like, obviously Dinosaur Hill isn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
A police
yeah, it was
lot, stuff
kind
like
of
that, yeah.
in
So
center.
the numbers are DDA lots, I think.
Yeah, it seems like the numbers.
Oh, lot 5, lot 4,
Yeah.
lot 12,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And then Watertown Park, I don't know
So I guess, just to kind of get out in front of it, what I'd like to do is to figure out which ones are ours to confirm. If it's the numbers, then that's easy. But just let me or let the board know which ones are in the district so we can kind of be aware of that. And then, just sake of curiosity, when did we get them? How did we get them? How were they paid for? You know, was it, you know, DDA funds or city funds that paid for it? Just so, I honestly can't remember. I think we dealt with it
Right.
when I first got on council back in 2008 or 2009, and I honestly haven't touched it since, so.
And the parking fund does not have any money for lot reconstructions, so all those are not in the parking.
Right, and once again, this is not going to happen tomorrow either. This is going to be over time as well, calendarized. I'm just trying to sort of share with you guys to sort of be aware that this stuff is kind of percolating behind the scenes.
These
and-
are, obviously infrastructure, others.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's
So,
very fascinating to me. I'd never seen any.
Yeah, no,
this
so it's
before.
knowing which ones are ours. I think the one we rent, right?
There's one that's rented, yep.
Yeah.
Not
Yep, I got to
rented,
get the
no.
numbers.
Yeah,
but-
so anyway, I guess my ask is, just for the board, so we can have it, just which ones are ours? When did we buy them? Who paid for them? If it was DDA or general fund dollars? And then, I think the city owns all of them except for Farmers Lot?
Yeah, and Farmers Market is listed on here is, lot 7 that's about 295,000, so
Okay.
that doesn't need to be there. Front porch happens, obviously, that money would come out of
Gotcha.
there because we'd be obviously
All
redoing
right,
the
so I guess
surface.
for me, just so I can, I hate walking into a gunfight with a penknife. I want to make sure I know what's going on. So if we could kind of put a little bit finer point on this sheet as to which ones are in the district and just kind of like a really high-level history of, when we bought it and who paid for it, just so I know, just so we know what's going on.
That'd be
And then
good to
we'll just
see.
go from there. I mean,
Yeah.
And I think the reconstruction of just the DDA lots, I think, Nick, was, well, I was gonna say 2.2, it's 3 total, but DDA's in that range.
Okay.
And again, not all at once,
Yeah.
but large numbers.
Yeah, no, I know. It's but I guess the main point is between this and the other one is,
I can give it to Anthony, he can help me with that.
people are running around with a
and-
hat, so we gotta
Yeah.
kind of be
And
careful.
I'm
So-
sure Leanne can help me with some of the purchases.
Yeah,
as well, so.
I don't want you guys to bend over backwards, but I would just like some 50,000 foot. We bought it in 1983. It was paid for by, TIF dollars, blah, blah, blah. And then, identify which ones they are. So lot 5 doesn't really mean squat to me, so if
Yeah.
that's whatever, blah, 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 lot, so.
Yes.
You mean like the Kathy Dalton lot? Stuff like
Exactly,
that?
yes, for sure. Right, yeah, 100%. All right, so, once again, this is just more for, just so we all sort of know what's going on, and, we've worked very, very hard to be a good partner with council in our three-legged stool operation, so I want to make sure that we continue to do that, but also, too, I want to make sure that, that we know what we know. So anyway, so that's just sort of an update. I've got no hard numbers for you to say, yeah, we got to have X number of dollars in the budget this year. According to Nick, the asset committee will sort of come back with that, and then we will have that discussion as we start to form the budget. So when we sit down for goals and objectives next Wednesday, we probably will not have that number, I don't think, but we'll be mindful of that is sort of out there, and it's not exactly an insignificant, tiny little gnat flying around the room. It's a big one, so, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, do you feel like this will probably be a higher priority on the goals and objectives?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm waiting on feedback from DPW and from the administration as to what, the needs are. It's, everything is always, we try and extend things as long as possible. That's always been the case, whether it's a DDA street or a parking lot or whatever. But you get to the point of diminishing returns where you have to do something. So that then at that point, all right, well, let's look at the economics of that particular piece and see what it looks like. So, yeah, it is what it is, right? So we'll figure it out. Not worried about it. Yes, sir.
I have a question about, has this been kind of more, gradually be more of the stuff switching over to the DDA? I mean, all that stuff, much of this stuff was done by the city. What was the thought process of why that was taking place?
Fair question. So back when we did the parking management system, it was decided that everything except for the farmer's market lot would be put into the pot of the city. So they weren't deeded over officially, but all revenue, all expense, everything went to the parking advisory the parking management system, so all the lots were taken away from the DDA's control. The argument back then was, you're not getting revenue from them, so how would you pay to fix them? So they dumped them all into the system's supposed to pay for it. Mayor's 100% right. For the last 30 years, there should have been a sinking fund to put it, just like anything else. You're gonna buy a new car, you should put away some money to buy a new car. That was not done. So now we're getting to face this again, not DEFCON 5. It's over, each lot has a PASER rating, so we know when it's gotta be fixed. It's a nice rhythm to get them all fixed by the end of 10 years. So, again, nothing to panic about. It's a lot of money, and they'll get done when, the system has money, gets put in there, and then the partners put in money. So it's all in a spreadsheet that we've got, and we'll share that with you, when it gets through the committee.
So it'll be calendarized. It's, to Nick's point, it's not gonna, this is all not gonna be, I don't have to come up with,
Couldn't do
$20 million
again, you
in
can't
the
do
budget
them all.
this year.
And you
Might
couldn't
as well just call
physically
it,
do that.
we're
We'd have
done,
to
here's
shut
the
the whole
keys,
city
you can
down.
have it, yeah. We'll get that information from the Asset and the Infrastructure Committee as to the calendar. Then, once we get that, then the numbers will be real, and then we'll start to have some robust discussion. on
One
it.
last question.
Yes, sir.
Nick, so that sewer breakup the other day was on Third. Would that be a DDA expense then? No, that would still be city expense.
Well, it would be ultimately, but, that one was water and sewer, so water and sewer. Actually, that was private, they paid for it because it was their leak, not ours, so. They owned to the pipe, so that was $0 to the city or the DDA. They had to pay for it.
Yeah, I suspect, as time goes on, there'll be some horse trading as to what, if it's water and sewer, and water and sewer's getting the money for it, blah, blah, blah. So, for me personally, I'm not wrapped around the axle over any of this. This is, all part of our, duty as being a partner and trying to get through it. So I guess stay tuned, news at 11, as it were.
Question.
Yes,
Does the
sir.
parking system make money or no?
Break even.
It's break even.
Break even.
No, not break even minus all that, $3 million, so it's negative $3 million technically. But the day-to-day operations, paying bond debt, the meters, the gates, that goal was set by council.
But the next few years, because of some major expenses, it's in a deficit of like 100 to 200,000.
Yeah, and
So-
and I think when is one of them paid off?
10 years.
Yeah, we have 10 more years.
10 more years? Okay. All right.
So the parking system was supposed to pay for everything, but it didn't contemplate all the surface lots, and it really didn't have enough money for even to be breaking even with some of the larger cost. So then there's this big number out there, and that's why the DDA is gonna have to pay for a lot of that stuff.
But we don't know how much yet and when, so stay tuned, news at 11. We will work with our partners to do what we can. And that's sort of it. Any other questions with respect to this item? All right, seeing none, moving forward. More me. You guys are going to get tired of me. All right, so goals and objective meeting is next Wednesday. So what did we say, 6?
We had said 7, but we can move to
7,
6
no,
if
it's
it
fine.
works better for people.
Are we, well, it's obviously an open public meeting, so it'll be
It'll be
here?
posted. We had it scheduled over at the studio, but.
Oh, the studio.
Yeah, but because we don't televise it, so. But it's up to you if you want to move it here. Makes no difference to me.
Yeah, I think it might be nicer here, just kind of spread out a little bit.
Okay.
Unless you're going to have barely a quorum.
Plus, I think the chairs are more comfortable here, probably.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
If everybody can move it to
I don't have budget
But the
for comfy
vibe is
chairs,
much
sorry.
cooler over there, right? A lot less
the vibe is
sanitary.
cooler over there,
Yeah, a
but-
lot less sanitary over there.
It's at 6?
Well, that's what we were just started talking about. So we had set it at 7. I really, 7 so we can all get a bite to eat first and then just come, or we can do it at 6 if you want to get after it and then just bring something in.
We
Obviously-
talked to Tanya about maybe doing some food, so.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Has anyone?
Chicken pot pie, your huckleberry. Hell yeah. All right.
So 6 o'clock here with pot pies, is that what I'm hearing?
Dude, yes, pot pies and Guinness. Let's get
Okay.
after it. It'll be great.
Yeah, because I have an invitation, for 7, okay.
Okay, cool. All right, so 6 here?
Yep, I'll switch it to
I
6.
might be late at 6, but that's
do-
fine.
Well, we'll save a pot pie for you.
Thank you.
Is there
Maybe.
anyone vegetarian in this group?
No, I just have a lactose intolerant.
All right, I will talk with you.
Custom blend.
But, I mean, I don't wanna be, I can eat a chicken pot pie, I mean, I don't,
quiche.
I'm not strict, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So, yes, what, you bring whatever, I mean, as long, I just don't eat beef.
No
Yeah.
worries.
All right, if Marilyn doesn't want a chicken, I'll eat it, so.
I probably eat chicken.
All right, very good. All right, so I think we're good. So 6 o'clock is good. Mayor may be a little late, but we will save a pot pie for him. Okay,
And
very
I'll
good.
change the meeting invite that everybody had from 7 to 6.
Oh, yeah,
so
thank you.
everybody-
Yep, that'd be perfect.
great.
And that
That's
way,
that.
it'll give us a little bit more time, and then everybody can get out at a reasonable hour, so. End of the year recap, Madam Director.
Okay, sorry, we're moving into
Sorry.
chambers, correct? Moving up over here?
Yes, over here. yep.
Okay, all right, I'll change it on the thing. Okay. Hi again. So, I was talking to the executive committee that there's a lot of times we just kind of take for granted everything that goes on around town, and I thought it might be helpful to quantify exactly what's happened over the last couple months and what we've been doing. Because it's not just pretty lights, so I thought this might be a helpful way to go through it very briefly, as Ben always likes to remind me. But it's just an end of the year recap. I really wanted to go through essentially what has happened, earmarking from November 1st through December 31st as our time frame for all of the slides that you're going to see tonight. So the highlights that we're going to be going over, events, the press received, our social media impact, and the community building that we did. What I would say is that this season was an unprecedented one, and I'll get to that in a minute, but anyone that I talked to this year, and I've been doing this for a minute, there was just a joy and a happiness and the amount of people. Certainly it could have been the weather, it could have been a lot of things, but hearing from the businesses, the general public, both online and in person, there was something special happening in Rochester this year. And so I wanted to share some of those stories with you, as well as quantify some of our results as well, because it isn't always just pretty pictures, there are numbers attached to things as well. But as I like to say, it was filled with merriment, moments, and memories, because you know I love my alliteration. So kicking off with the events, between November 1st and December 31st, we hosted 16 events and promotions. That is more than any other town that I am aware of. That includes public art projects, formal special events, online promotions, in-store promotions, you name it, we did it during that time. Everything from the downtown cookie stroll to caroling in the city, which you see above there. All of our events this year were incredibly well attended. Again, I think that is contributing to weather. But there was something special happening this season, and it all really started here. As you know, Lanyap was celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. And if everyone hasn't heard the story, Nick called me when I was in Florida and said, we have an opportunity because our new police chief had asked the magical question, why don't you close Main Street at Lanyap? And we're like, oh, here's the story. This is why we don't do it. So he made a few calls and came back to Nick and said, you know, there's a changing of the guard of the people that are in the permit department at MDOT, and we might have an opportunity. So first day back from Disney, I was there filling out permits, doing our thing, and this has never happened in the history of ever. I put in a permit to MDOT at 11 in the morning, and I had a completed approved permit at 1:30 the same day.
How?
That does not happen.
It's a sign of the end times.
Yes, well, and even more fun, just for kicks, because I know with goals and objectives, not just here, but also at PSD, the question has already come up, are we going to be closing Main Street again? So just for funsies, I put in a permit yesterday to MDOT for Lanyap, and it got approved today.
Yeah.
So, yes.
What's the only sale you're not gonna get? It's the one you don't ask for.
That is exactly right. So I'm like, man, I gotta put in more permits because they're approving things today. So anyway, so for anyone who was unable to attend Lanyap this year, it was a different Lanyap than we've ever had. Being 50th, we had already decided that we were gonna do fireworks, so we thought that was really cool, but then adding in closing Main Street. It was sort of, if anyone who was at the very first Lanyap when we did the lights 18 years ago, I think that there was just something in the air, there was something magical about it. And not that every year hasn't been special and important and memorable, but there was something about this year with closing the road, because we had two different things happen. Because we've heard people, there are people that never miss an opening night of light show. They always come, even though it's crowded and crazy, they will be there, rain or shine. But then we have that other group that's like, yeah, I don't come to Lanyap anymore, it's just too much for me. Or people that have different issues that they can't, stand for so long, they can't be jostled around, things like that. The narrow sidewalks aren't working for them, for their strollers, for anything they need to get around. So we had this converging of these two groups, the people that always come that were coming, and now the people that had said, I'm not coming back there, they've said, oh, why, yes, I'll be coming to Lanyap this year, as evidenced by what you see right here. It was incredible when the lights went on, and I think John Fox said it best. He came up on stage with his son. As you know, he's our presenting sponsor for the Big Bright Light Show, has been for years. And he got up there, and he said he literally stopped dead. It was like, whoa, I'm sure, Stuart, you probably had the same experience. It was a lot. And when he left the stage after the lights went on, fireworks were going, people were stopping him and thanking him. And he has never had that, because he does it, we put his logo on things, but really he does it because he likes to support the community. He had so many people coming up to him, he called me the day after Lanyap and just wanted to check in on a couple things and said, by the way, who funded the fireworks? How did that happen? I explained that Nick had called a few people and that we're able to get 3 different sponsors, and he said, I liked it. Next year, put it on my tab. Going forward, that's part of my sponsorship. So now, in addition to having the road approved, we have fireworks already paid for this year, in addition to his regular sponsorship with us. But I think that is indicative. John's been a part of this for years, but that made him stop and look at it differently and say, okay, I want to be more a part.
Didn't Chief George say there's like 50,000 people?
They estimated, yeah. I mean, Nick, can you explain?
We took a drone shot, and then you can do a grid. It's called mosh pit grid, or that's what they call it.
Yeah.
So we went up to Leicester, and that put 34,000 people from Second to University, not counting restaurants, side streets, fireworks watchers. So it was at least 50,000.
That's crazy.
Real people.
So it was interesting, just a fun fact for anyone who doesn't know this, for every year of the light show, I have never actually seen the lights go on because I've always been by the switch. So I've either been behind the stage or in our old office behind the parapet, so I get to see like this little section of lights go on. I've never actually been out there when the lights went on. So this year, because it was 50th, the girls were like, hey, why don't you do that? And then we'll come back, open the studio, because we did that last year to open up the store, and then you be out there. So of course I was like, a kid at Christmas, taking my pictures, doing all the things. So as I walked through the crowd, just to see the smiles on faces, to see the happiness. But then as I started to walk back to the studio, in 2022, when I went back to the studio, it was the first year that we had opened our doors that night and had people come in and do a little shopping. When I did that the year before, literally I flipped on the switch, went and opened the door, whatever. We had like 3 people by the time Jenna and Taylor got back. By the time I got back to the studio this past year, our studio was full. We had gotten 3 trays of Christmas cookies for everybody. Locusts, gone instantly. And in the 2 hours from when the lights went on to when we closed at 9 o'clock, we had sold $1,500 worth of Rochester Love Local goodies. It was a lot. And then we talked to a lot of the businesses that said the same thing, that a lot of people on a traditional lanyap, because it gets a little crowded, some people still go in and shop and do a few things. This made it so much more comfortable for everybody. Everyone enjoyed it, and they went in, and it already started that economic impact that we talk about. And you'll see as I go on, there's a reason why I keep talking about economic impact. So this was a good night. It was a very
we had no issues.
No issues?
Yeah, I called Chrissy the morning, I'm like, all right, this was great. Now, what, tell me the other side of the story, the old Paul Harvey, there was none, so it was fantastic.
No issues, and I can't tell you the amount of people that went out of their way after we posted photos and on social media. You know how social media can get, it was extremely positive, everyone thanking us, they thought it was just a really special and magical was the word that I think if I had to search through our social, that got used the most.
Gotcha. Yes,
Even yesterday, there was a guy, he said, I never got a chance to come down to see the lights, this is my first chance. And I said, the light is changing, come out in the middle, take a picture with me, and we took a picture, and he's like, thank you, I love this, I should have come here sooner. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful day for it, though.
Is there any truth to the rumor that this picture will be the mayor's reelection? On the mayor's reelection literature?
I have better pictures of him actually with the lights behind.
It looks like Santa Claus is running for city council on that one.
Yeah, but, if I see this on a flyer, whenever you're up for reelection, I'm gonna chuckle to myself, so.
Yeah. If you're interested, sir, I have better photos that where you're actually facing the camera and the lights and crowd are behind you. All right, I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
We have all
Get
the
you into Congress with that,
Yeah, we since this is our first time doing this, our photographer, he got us all new photos of everything because all of our old photos don't make sense anymore. Yeah. So all new photos this year. So events were one thing, but press was a little bit different for us this year. We've always gotten coverage about the lights, but this year was different. We didn't just get coverage saying, hey, the light show's on, here's the dates. We got actual articles written about us. We ended up, Nancy Salvia had the suggestion that because we were getting so many of them, that we should have them all on the website. If you actually go to our website, go to the Downtown Rochester page, hit Big Bright Light Show. It shows logos of all those and has hot links to every one of the articles that we had this year. I highlighted this one in particular. This happens to be Parade Magazine. 51 of the cutest Christmas towns that are filled with extra holiday magic. This was international. So not just U.S. cities, but international, which was pretty special. We were ranked between Suffolk, England, and Paris, France. I don't know, that's ridiculous and makes no sense to me, but okay. But it was really special to be a part of a list like that, and that's the kind of coverage we were getting. It wasn't just that. It was, actually have a couple to show you. I know, I put it up because you love the Chewy.com. But 51 of the cutest Christmas towns that are filled with extra holiday magic. The best dog-friendly holiday light shows across the U.S. Nick is very excited. That was from Chewy.com. The 12 best Hallmark-esque Christmas towns in Michigan from Awesome Mitten. And It's Lit, the 50 best Christmas light displays in each state will bring you a whole watt of holiday cheer. That was also in Parade Magazine. They picked one per state, and we were the one for Michigan. So it was pretty darn special for us to get that kind of coverage. Everything was like this. It was, top 7 most awesome blah, everything. We were compared to Gilmore Girls episodes, compared to Hallmark movies. Of course, then it led to a whole string of why don't we have a Hallmark movie moments, which we'll talk about a little bit. But there was one article that stood out amongst the rest, which was our Wall Street Journal article. I mentioned this at our last meeting, that the Wall Street Journal had reached out to Main Street America and said that they were interested in talking to a town that was bucking the trends, that independent businesses were being successful, that they were thriving, and that they had beat COVID and were doing interesting, different things to draw people to their downtown. So Matt Wagner, who was here when we were doing our Next Gen pilot program from National Main Street, is the Vice President of Development there. He very simply told them, call Christie. So they called me, they did a half-hour pitch with me about who we are and what we do. I took them all the way back to 1983 when we started and took them through Main Street Makeover and the sheep and the lights and everything. They told me they were talking to other cities, probably wouldn't call me back, but thanks for my time, no problem. Then they called us back, and they kept calling us. And pretty soon, they were sending a photographer to town to see us, and he actually came to town the week of Kris Kringle Market. It was raining, but we still got some good pictures. But they were interviewing, I had given them a laundry list of people to talk to, and this is the article that was released on December 24th. So keep in mind that I had been refreshing on Wall Street Journal's Facebook page incessantly, like every 15 minutes for days, because they kept saying it's going to run before Christmas, it's going to run before Christmas. So I kept checking. I swear to God, I went in to pick up Eden's last Christmas present. I was in the store maybe 20 minutes. I come out and my phone is lit up like a Christmas tree. Did you see the article? I'm like, I have been checking this for weeks, but here we are. So if anyone hadn't seen this, and it doesn't do it justice on a phone, when I actually pulled it up on a desktop, it's pretty special. So if you hadn't seen this, it's more of a pictorial than anything else, but I think that the way that they set the stage was this. Online retailers and a new outdoor mall with big threats to downtown shopping in Rochester, Michigan, when the town unveiled its first light display in 2006. Rochester population, roughly 13,000, is 30 minutes north of Detroit. This year, the town spent 7 weeks and $275,000 to wrap 5 blocks of Main Street in lights. The lights are not an event, they're economic development at its core, said me. And that was what they really talked to me about, that they wanted to focus on was economic development. It wasn't about that the lights were pretty. It wasn't that we were doing a special event. It was about the impact that our community took a great leap of faith and tried something very different, but had an amazing result. That wasn't about throwing a party, it wasn't about throwing an event, it was about economic development. And then the slides that go on, this is Nathan from Desert Oasis. He's talking about that his business jumps 50% in December. And then talked about the Eastman, which they had just opened on Lanyap as well. They talked about our snowman event, and they talked about our commercial vacancy rate that is continually between 2% and 3%. They went into catching fireflies. As many of you know, they are expanding and moving up to Main Street. April came to me in the spring and said that she walked up to Main Street during Light Show in 2022 and saw all the people that were up there not coming back to her business and realized that there was an opportunity to come up to Main Street. And so she's hoping that her business is gonna be jumping by 20% this year. She's gonna be open up on Main Street in the next week or two, and we're excited to have her. She's going where this former Sweet Island Yogurt was. They stopped at Home Bakery, talking about who they are and what they do, and said that they extend their hours 7 days a week when the lights are on. Focused on the big Barbie, everything made out of cake, which of course for us is commonplace, but they were really excited to see a giant window that everything was made out of cake. But I love Heather's quote that she talks about that the lights boost sales year round for her as new customers return for cakes and weddings and other special events. They see them at Christmas, they come back afterwards. And that was really the driver when we started lights 18 years ago, was that, and you hear me say it all the time, if we can get people to Rochester once, they'll come back. And the lights are continuing to deliver on that promise and benefiting the businesses every time. Of course, Tony was featured.
That's a shock, right?
There it is. I love that, Tony focused in on the independent businesses and how that's what really makes our town special. I love your customers, and they look very excited about whatever they're ordering. This was, when they gave the list of people they wanted to talk to, they wanted a business that had been passed down. So of course I had to think of Tony because nobody's more special than Tony and his dad, Bill. So I was excited that they were able to get featured in this article. They went into some of our boutiques. They went to Hello Fancy. A great story about Hello Fancy, and that's why they wanted to talk to them. Hello Fancy, when they came to us, they had a store in Richmond, and this was going to be their second location. Within a year of opening here, she not only closed her Richmond location, she moved her entire family to Rochester because she fell in love with our community. And I think that's a great indicator of what we have to offer, and that our downtown, as I like to say, is and always has been a family. More inside of Hello Fancy, talking about some of the things that they do to draw people into their stores in non-light show time. This is them at the Kris Kringle Market, talking about that, and then Paul, in his quote, in his place, in the little video there, talking about how he pays for the Santa, which, as Paul knows, everybody thinks we pay for his Santa. Paul takes the time and does that display every year, always switches it up, always makes it amazing, and all of that comes right out of his pocket because he believes in the light show in this town so very much. And my favorite quote, it's like Disneyland. Well, of course it is. So that is our article there, but it's not the end of my presentation. Okay, so then.
I just want to tell you that I had, even in Miami at the show, I had different dealers come up to me and said they read the article.
Fun fact about the article, Ruth Simon had talked to, who's the reporter on the article, she had called Matt Wagner at National, and he was talking with John Bry, and they shared with me that Wall Street Journal said that our article was the most read article for the month of December on Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
So again, and I'm not saying it to brag, but I think it's pretty impressive that a little town of 13,000 people that puts Christmas lights on buildings is the most read article on Wall Street Journal. I think that says something. Social media was our friend this year. We usually get some great coverage, but nothing like this. Posts, stories, videos, reels, drone footage, everything about us. I just cherry picked a couple samples. Rochester, our beautiful downtown community, love our lights and everything we do. And I love the we. You'll notice in a lot of our things, everything's about we. And I love that ownership. I love that community pride that we've inspired. It's in most of our posts. It's about the we. I was able to bring my 84-year-old parents. My mom is in a wheelchair, who recently moved to Rochester because the street was closed down. Otherwise would have been too crowded. So thank you for working hard to get the okay. They both had so much fun. And then, I don't know who this is, Nancy Salvia, it seems familiar to me. We love our downtown, so happy to have some national press recognize our charm. Sure would love to see a Hallmark film here, why wouldn't they? We gotta check out that Nancy Salvia, she's got good ideas. So, but of course, social media is about the numbers, so it's nice to have nice posts, but what does that go to? So, I dug into our social media stats for that same period of the November 1st through December 31st. This is our platform reach. So if you're not familiar with the concept of reach, this is the number of unique people that see our post. So for this time, on the Downtown Rochester Facebook page, we had over 600,000 people that we reached. The Big Bright Light Show Facebook page had 36,000. The Kris Kringle Market, 26,000. The Love Local Rochester Facebook group had over 250,000 people reached, and our Downtown Rochester Instagram at 311. So a total for that 2-month period, 1.3 million people were reached. And this is from people commenting, liking, sharing our posts. And when I looked in to see how much we pay for, because we do some boosting of posts and things like that for this whole period, it looks like we spent about $300.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know, right? So in terms of that, it is completely, for the most part, other than our $300, it was organic. And I think that's kind of amazing. I know there's a lot of people that would really like to see numbers like this for their businesses. So, but I think this is, again, indicative of the followings that we have. And of course, if you look at all our percentages, like for the month, obviously because, we're throwing layups because it's light show and I get it, and that our pages were up 4,000% in terms of engagement and all that. But then those people, they end up following our pages and they stay with us throughout the year, and then they keep getting more of our messaging. So, but last but not least, community. I think that we talk about economics, but I think that there is an unspoken value of the community. Seeing all of our posts that people are using we. We did this, we did that. I think that's amazing because it is about we. It's about all the things that we do together. These happen to be the winners for our Caroling in the City Ugly Sweater Contest. I don't know if you can tell from the one girl on the right, she actually built a cardboard gingerbread house and encased herself in it. It was pretty amazing. And then Liv in the middle, she was our little Cindy Lou Who, and she actually had a Christmas tree that she wrapped her hair around to make that for her head. But as I like to say, we brought the joy, we inspired our community pride, and we created those memory-making moments. That's one thing that you hear me talk about a lot. I talk about it when I speak nationally. If we have any job beyond economic development, beyond all the things that we do, creating those memory-making moments for people are things that they will never forget. And we took lots of pictures. Look at all, even puppies, but look at, but you look at people of all ages. People came, that was one of our contestants for Ugly Sweater. She doesn't just walk around like that. She had like a baby sling with a little Santa there. It was very funny. But she was Meli Kalikimaka. But it's funny that I remember these things. That was, middle of December. But if I remember those things, I run into so many people and talk to so many people. But there's just something about this year, all of the happiness and the people and the different ages and just people being here and being happy. And it translated to sales, it translated to memories, and it translated to all those posts on our page of people thanking us for taking the time, for doing the things that we do. And it just makes me think, that, 19 years ago when we made that pitch to DDA and council that we had this idea, what if they had said no? Can you imagine? What photos would I be showing you? Would Wall Street Journal have still featured us? You just don't know how different life would be. I always want to have like that wonderful life moment. We go back in time, what if we didn't approve the lights and what would have looked like? And Stuart was here,
Those two people, the older couple with the Santa hats, are neighbors of my father's at Cedarbrook.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Stuart, is that Brad and Barnes?
Yeah, Dr.
Barnes?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just think the smiles on faces, all of that. But I just felt like I really wanted to share this with everybody because I get to see this all day long in my feed. I get all the pings every time somebody does anything on any of our pages. My phone is just pinging like crazy. But I wanted to share it with all of you because it just keeps putting a smile on my face. And I think it reinforces the investment that we made all those years ago and that we continue to make because it makes a difference, not just economically, but also community-wide because it's a source of pride that we do this for our town and people own it, and I think it's kind of amazing.
I'm the one sending those at 5 in the morning.
That I know. I honestly, my phone goes off like 6:30 and like Tanya's texting me.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I'd just like to say something real quick. Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo to you. Bravo to your ideas. Of 3 people that put on 16 events in that small amount of time. It's incredible, and we're lucky to have you.
Taylor and Jenna are amazing. We were tired, but we're better now.
Just bravo. Just awesome.
We're good now.
There's always time for sleep afterwards.
You've reached maximum efficiency.
Awesome.
Yes.
Every ounce of energy that you have.
We try.
You and your team.
So that entire deck kind of shows you in a nutshell what this does for our community. It's not just, lights, right? It's creating the sense of place. It's creating, honestly, demand for people to live in our community and to be part of this, right? yeah, this is why we get out of bed in the morning and do what we do, so thank you, I appreciate it, we appreciate it.
Christy, Drew was in the restaurant, Drew Colburn, and he says what we do in town, it's making our home prices go through the roof right now. He says it's unbelievable. He's never seen a city like this before in his life. He goes, we are hot right now because of you guys.
There was a lot of coverage, I'm telling you, you couldn't turn around without seeing us, and I wish I could tell you that we were working it that hard, we weren't working it that hard, it just happened. We wrote it, we were all over it, we shared the heck out of it, but we didn't, it was just happening.
Sometimes you just gotta step back and let it happen.
Let it
so.
happen, yeah.
Well, I want to say, having MDOT give us the permit, I feel like there was just so much more space to move around. Like, it made the atmosphere so much more festive. People were just in a better mood. I know I saw you close to the stage at one point, and it was right before the fireworks, and even the police telling people, with small kids, like, hey, head down this street, you'll get a much better view of it, so everybody just worked hand in hand, and it really was like a really fun, festive night, and as a parent of 2 small kids, like, that had a bunch of hot chocolate and got way too overstimulated, it was, even dealing with the after effects, it was just like, that was a blast, so, bravo to everyone for sure.
You're here.
Yep. So that's my update, there we are.
Anything else?
No.
I would, if it's not on the agenda, we might want to talk to the mayor, maybe get this in front of council too, so they can sort of see the same thing. I think it's important that we share the results of the hard work that everybody, honestly, has sacrifices made. Good stuff. Very good stuff, but it's why we come here on cold Wednesday night. To figure out new ways to delight our community that don't involve just lights. It's way more than just lights.
Absolutely.
Budget Subcommittee volunteers. So it's that time again, friends. No money down, easy monthly payments. So the hat is out. Of course, I'll be on Connor. I sort of have to be on it, I suppose. But how many do we have? 3?
Usually there's 3.
3, yeah, so myself. So if anybody has got any interest in spending a little quality time going over budget, feel free to step forward, or I'll step back.
And I did put on there, it's only probably 2 meetings.
Yeah, it's.
Small commitment.
Yeah, it's not, and then we usually get food, so this is good, yeah. So
Yes, there's
donuts
food.
or whatever, so. But if anybody's got any interest,
When is it?
it's gonna be happening pretty quickly. So
I think we're gonna try next week, either Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And then usually we'd meet again in March, after we bring stuff here.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of do a prep. So Anthony, I think he's out of town this week, right? So.
We were gonna try Friday, but he's in Lansing, but he
Yeah,
said
so-
next week he could do.
Okay, so maybe like next Friday, where we'll get sort of, Anthony will give us like the 50,000 foot, what it kind of looks like. I don't think we're gonna have any infrastructure numbers by then, but at least we'll sort of know, what the forecast from the city is in terms of, the inflow, and then just sort of the fixed part of the operations is generally the same every year. It doesn't change a whole lot. So it's going to be, the other projects that are involved, of course, Front Porch will be part of that. But then all the other stuff that we do as well. So next Friday.
What time?
8?
I know you love the 8 o'clocks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 8, yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah, no, because I work in Birmingham, so it's, I can get in and get after it and then split. So we'll probably meet at the studio at 8.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay.
I'll step up.
All right, excellent. All right.
I'm on a flight.
All right.
All right.
Well, so,
We need to get out doing.
all right, so we'll do, we'll have the 3 amigos here, so there'll be 4 of us. We'll get after it. And then as things start to mature, we will, of course, bring the board up to speed and up to date as that starts to get roughed in.
Is it this Friday?
So not this Friday, next Friday.
We got site development this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday's site,
So it'd be the 26th.
correct.
26.
Yeah, 8 a.m. at the studio.
Yep, and I'll bring breakfast.
We'll get Coney's for breakfast. Did I ever send you the picture of the coney omelet that I had at Metro Airport before I got on my flight to Charlotte? Oh, dude, it was great.
Were you hurting all day?
Oh, I felt so bad for the people on that flight. I'm like, this is not gonna go well. But it was so good. It was so good. So good. All right, great. So we got that settled, so thank you for stepping up, appreciate it. Main Street Oakland County accreditation visit, Madam Director.
It is that time again for our accreditation visit. So it is scheduled for Wednesday, February 7th. I heard from John yesterday. They're only going to do a half day with us. They're bringing the director of the Michigan Downtown Association to participate in that, Dana Walker, and they're wanting us from 9 to 12. So I'll put together an agenda, but typically they'll meet with us. They'll meet with the PSD, and then usually we throw another group at them, or they talk to our staff. So it just depends on what they want. So, but look for an invite, but usually we probably try to do DDA early, usually do at the 9 o'clock slot.
Gotcha.
So once I confirm with John, I'll send that out to everybody, but yeah, it's just a half day. And then I put in the packet, if you ever wonder how they do the assessment, this is the pre-checklist that I have to fill out, all 20 pages of it. It's fantastic. But they've got some new things this year too, so the accreditation is changing. I think they're trying to make it a little bit more stringent, so it isn't like Oprah, you get one, you get accredited, you get accredited. So I think they're trying to cheer it up.
I'll make my annual complaint that they do it in the morning, so anybody who works can't make it. I don't think that's right.
I've expressed that. I know with their staff, they do them all during the days, so.
So obviously, they don't care to get a representation then of the board.
I don't think that's the case, but I can offer to John, if you want to speak with him individually, I'm sure he'd be happy to set up a separate meeting with you, whether it's on Zoom or in person somewhere. I'm sure he could.
I'm just saying.
Mhm.
I've said that year after year. That's it. That's my complaint for the night.
I got it. No DTE stuff tonight, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for Monday.
Gotcha. All right, very good. All right, so February 7th, I will endeavor to make sure I'm a part of that. Regular reports, director update.
Everything that I have is in the packet, but I did want to highlight Frost Fest, as Marilyn stated. Nothing will be melting, but hopefully we'll see if we actually have humans down here. So Frost Fest, as you know, Oakland County was not able to field fire and ice with us. No matter how many times we post that, the question every time we post about Frost Fest is, what happened to Oakland County? Oakland County is still a great partner to us. They've already indicated they might be able to come back next year. It just wasn't in the cards for them this year. They bring a lot to the table. They bring the staff, the equipment, the volunteers. It is not a very easy thing just to pull the trigger and go. So they may be coming back next year. We'll see where that conversation goes. But for us, so we weren't able to do the winter sports. We don't do that. Bringing in the beer tent and all those kinds of things, that was something that was funded through sponsors with the county, so that, and the food trucks went away as well. And then with the fireworks, we spent our budget to have fireworks at Lanyap, which everyone seemed to appreciate. And now, since we're not doing the evening activities, the Frost Festival ends at 6 o'clock on Saturday, so it really didn't make sense to have 8 o'clock fireworks when no one's open. So, but the Frost Festival will include, we do have ice sculptures up and down Main Street. Our theme is Under the Sea. We were a little bit lenient with it. Some things are boats, so they're above the sea, but it's fine. They're on the sea.
Sea related.
Sea related, sea adjacent, it's fine. So we have that. We do have a lot of live carvings going on both Friday and Saturday, and then we have the collegiate carving competition, which was a big part of Fire and Ice. They are coming back. They will be on West 4th Street from 11 to 2 on Saturday. And that, if you haven't seen the live carving, it's pretty amazing. They do some pretty cool stuff. And then we had, because of the construction on East 4th with the lead, we had to switch. So the Lions Club is back with us again, so they will be doing the s'more station and ice cornhole that we got for them, and some ice photo spots down there, and carving. And they'll be on West 3rd this year on Friday and Saturday. So it's 5 to 9 on Friday and 10 to 6 on Saturday. And last but not least, we did have some requests from some of the retailers to pump up our retail component of it. So Jenna created Frost Fest Bingo. So these cards are available at 4 places downtown, including the studio, and they have things on them, like, make a $25 purchase, or it could be that you stop at a jewelry store or something like that. They have little stamps that we passed out that people can go ahead and punch. And so people can double up on some places if they make a $25 purchase and go to a jewelry store, 2 punches. So then they take their stamped bingo, once they get their bingo across, and bring it to us, and then those will all be thrown into a giant bucket, and then we'll be drawing for gift certificates for downtown. So it's going to be fun. It's been posted quite a bit, so hoping we get some good traction on that. Yes.
Excellent. Little merch.
Yes.
Very good. Anything events and marketing, or that was kind of combined?
I think that was kind of combined, and then we're already working on Foodie February, which should be kicking off February 1st, and, yeah, because that's the only thing I think that'll be happening before I see you guys again.
Gotcha.
So, yes.
All right, thank you for those updates.
Yes.
Financial report is in the packet. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to either myself or the director. Biz Dev?
I wasn't in town, so.
Okay.
So we met this morning, going over things for goals and objectives.
Okay.
So that's mainly what we worked on, but we did book the Holiday Expo already. The hotel had the space available, so we snatched on it. So spoiler for goals and objectives, it's going to be on November 11th of this year.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, very good. And then site, we're getting together Friday morning, so I don't know if there's anything before that.
No, nothing.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, with that, I think we've tackled the beast here, as it were. Any other parting words of wisdom from anybody on the board? All right, thank you, everybody, for your attendance this evening. Meeting is adjourned.